This is what nobody's telling you about Barcelona's hard-fought 2-1 victory over at St. James Park. This wasn't just another Champions League group stage game. This was a big statement win. This is a debut, a team victory. Barcelona football, St. James Park under the brightest lights, high-pressing Newcastle side. The atmosphere was insane. These guys were celebrating just getting a corner kick like it was a goal. And in the first 20 minutes, we took their best punch. A big one. Newcastle came out swinging, pressing like a madman, feeding into that crowd, and yet Barcelona didn't fall one bit. Instead, they settled in. Pedri and Frenkie de Jong began dictating tempo after those first 20 minutes that I was talking about, slowing the game down, taking the sting out of Newcastle's energy, really. That's how you survive in the Champions League, by the way. You don't just win it just by being flashy every night. You win it by absorbing moments of chaos and then flipping the game in your favor. We knew Newcastle was going to give us their best punch, everything they've got. And Real Madrid mastered this during their three-peat. I have to say it. Credit where credit is due. And tonight, Barcelona showed the same thing, and finally learning that lesson of just how to beat the game. I think tactically, Hansi Flick nailed this. Last season, we would have just embraced that chaos and gone toe to toe, and probably we would have gotten burned. And tonight, we controlled the storm, the growth, the mentality. We showed maturity, and that to me, it's the clear sign that we're unlocking the next level at Barcelona. Now let's talk about the headline. Because tonight we saw it. Is Marcus Rashford is just a reality at Barcelona. Remember, this is a loan deal, no cost. A player whose stock had dropped his stock, whose confidence was questioned by many people. Many people call him Trashford. And what happens? His first real test in Barcelona shirt, and he delivers a master class in the first half. Even when he wasn't really precise, Rashford was the only one really trying to attack, winning corners, taking on defenders one-on-one, making something happen. But then in the second half, he really turned it up all the way up. First was a header, right? And Rashford's last header, in my opinion. And Rashford said it after the game too. Like he said, you know what? I think the best goal I scored was the first one, because I think it's the one that's the hardest, and that was extremely hard to get that header like that. And then there was the second goal. Turn off the light, the upright in. That's a banger, baby. That's a Champions League goal. And here's the scary part. That is not flick ball. That's Rashford adding a whole new dimension to this team. We've got control possession, and yes, but now we also have a player who can just, end the game with a strike, with a banger like this. That's a whole new dynamic, in my opinion. But this wasn't just about Rashford either. The backline is my other takeaway. Araujo, Cubarsí, Koundé, they all passed the test. I think they were all really good in this game. You want to talk about a nightmare matchup for them? Big, physical Newcastle strikers, bombing crosses into the box, and yet Araujo and Cubarsí held their own. Brave, composed, exactly what you need to grow their confidence on these European nights and going on to La Liga. And then, there's Frenkie de Jong. He's my next takeaway. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. Put some respect on his name. Tonight, 85 passes, only one miss, 96 touches, lost the ball 3 times out of 96 touches. That's crazy. That's a midfield masterclass. And when you combine him with Pedri, who, by the way, is growing into something truly special, you've got the best midfielder duo in Europe, because Pedri is playing a masterclass every single game, and now you add in De Jong in this form. And after the game, he also said, I was out of form, out of shape. I felt a little tired in the end, but for being out for so long, a couple weeks, and now throwing back to this game, I think I was okay, he said, and he was okay though, right? I've watched Xavi and Iniesta at their absolute best, and I'm not drawing comparisons, right? But when you watch Pedri specifically, he gives me that exact same feeling, right? If Pedri stays healthy and if he can have a longevity career, it would have to be something weird would have to happen and unlucky for him to not be one of the best midfielders of all time when his time is truly done. And then there's a new guy, right? Let's talk about my other key takeaway, Joan Garcia. Mwah. Thank you for coming to Barcelona, Joan Garcia. I cannot thank you enough. I'm seriously out of words for this guy. We literally struck gold with Joan Garcia, and I told you this signing made sense from the business standpoint. I said he'll double his value in the next 3 months, and I just knew it, and he will, because Garcia isn't just a smart buy. He looks like a keeper for the next decade. A keeper of this level can win you championships. He saved 1.26 goals and 5 saves. That is insane. He gives us a point at Vallecas, right? And now at St. James Park, this could have easily been a draw without him. Remember, in this game, he saved 1.26 expected goals. If you put that goal into the final score, and that means we're drawing at St. James Park. Instead, we get the 3 points. So he's literally giving us points. We knew about his shot stopping abilities. The thing with Joan Garcia, we knew about that. But the way that he runs his box, the accuracy of his distribution with his legs and arms is just elite. Against Rayo Vallecano, he saved us. Against Newcastle, 2 massive 1-on-1 saves. That's the difference between winning in Europe, winning in La Liga, or in Europe's toughest away games, or just literally going home empty-handed. That's what Joan Garcia is bringing to Barcelona. I am just so lucky. I feel so safe in the backfield with Joan Garcia, and he will make this defense better. And let's not forget, my other key takeaway is going to be depth. And I didn't second guess this. I first guessed it. This is one of the reasons why I said let's keep Fermin Lopez. It was mainly in terms of depth. And we did this without Lamine Yamal, without Gavi, without Balde, and still, when Flick turned to the bench, he had Olmo, Christensen, Eric Garcia, Casado, and Ferran Torres. All 5 changes played in the second half. That's how you build a squad ready to compete in all fronts. Hansi Flick really has turned us into winners overnight. He's adjusting this season, picking the right lineups for the right matchups. Araujo and Cubarsí tonight, perfect. Eric Garcia back in La Liga. That's really smart too. Resting Rafinha in the last game against Valencia, starting him now, spot on as well. Even though I do not like his game completely, I think in the second half he did turn it up. And this is what elite managers do. They maximize every piece in their squad, and every player in every facet, and that's what Hansi Flick is doing right now. It's insane. And here's what I've loved the most: how we finished the game. Barcelona ended the night in total control, passing, possessing, making Newcastle chase shadows until they were cast at the end of the game on the road. And I remember as soon as we scored the first goal, Newcastle manager brought in 5 players automatically, like 3 to 4 changes. I can't remember exactly how many there were, but there's a lot of players right there waiting for their moment to get into the pitch. And I think he brought in at least 3, but it could have been a little more. And to be honest, on the road, right? Barcelona on the road in the Premier League against a desperate and physical opponent, we walked away with a composed, poised, and 3 points, baby. That's a very, very hard-fought win for Barcelona. And before I give you my bonus takeaway, guys, if you enjoy this content, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts. Let me know what was your biggest takeaway of this match. So here's my bonus takeaway. If you ever wonder whether Barcelona has finally learned from their painful nights, Inter Milan away, Bayern Munich away, the answer is a resounding yes. We've got firepower, we got composure, we got depth, and most importantly, we got belief. Ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona doesn't just look back. Barcelona looks unstoppable.